we are only in the first stage of prosecution, okay? But this is no ham sandwich indictment. Without question, these are the most compelling, complete, and potentially damning facts and allegation former President Trump has faced to date. I know many are barking about him being the first former president to face federal charges. True, but so what? He's got so much legal baggage that I don't think the determining factor here for anybody who's open-minded, okay? I know, you got a third of the people who are with him, they're going to be with him. Okay, that's not what this is about. It's about the rest of us. And what is right, what is rational, and what can be proven under law, okay? And that's what we're going to focus on tonight, because what fuels these 37 criminal charges is different than anything that we have seen. How so? Look, the prosecutors, of course, have to prove what they allege. But there's a lot more in this indictment than usual. Maybe they learned from some earlier efforts of not playing the way they usually do and hiding the ball. They know the public expects more, demands more, and in fact deserves more. So how do we see this? First, let's deal with the politics. Very often with those in power who are playing the game, it's not what they say, it's what they don't say. And the defenses of Trump by those in his own party have been very one note. Listen.
If the president in power can just jail his political opponents, which is what Joe Biden is trying to do tonight, we don't have a republic anymore.
Because they can't beat Donald Trump in the 2024 election. And this is their fear and avarice and evil coming forward.
I mean, if you believe in the rule of law and if you believe in equal justice under the law, this should concern you because, you know, we have what appears to be a completely political prosecution of the former president, the current leader for the Republican nomination.
And let's put in espionage. We can kind of tie it into the Russian collusion so people will say, oh, it could have been the Russians. This is nonsense.
Now, there's a former judge there in Piro, okay? But I want you to notice, for all the bluster and all the high dudgeon and the outrage and the witch hunt, which is fine for politics, did you notice that not one of them said he didn't do what he's accused of? He didn't keep things that were vital to national defense on purpose when asked to return it, that he didn't try to duck the efforts to get it back, to obstruct himself and through others. He didn't lie and ask anybody else to lie. They say none of that, potentially for the same reason that two of the former president's lawyers may have resigned today. They know he did it, and this is going to be ugly. Ordinarily, and specifically with Trump, I wait on these things. Why? Two reasons. Because of his resilience politically and the relatively high bar for criminality. But in this indictment, it is the words of his own lawyer. Do you know how rare that is? That I can't believe, by the way, I can't believe it happened in this case. We're going to speak with better minds about it. I don't know of a situation. I know what the exception is, which is if you can show to the court that the lawyer may have been involved in commission of a crime, you may be able to pierce the privilege to get certain communications to that effect. But it's rare, and I can't believe it happened here, but it did. And those notes are very powerful, uncommonly so in an indictment. Often, we don't even know that they would be an indictment. I don't want anybody looking. I don't want anybody looking through my boxes. I really don't. I don't want you looking through my boxes. Okay, I'm okay with that. You don't have to want people to do it. Well, what happens if we just don't respond at all or play ball with them? Okay, now we're getting warm. Why? Because you don't have to really cooperate. You can fight the requests. You can fight them. You don't have to like it. You don't have to go out of your way. All right. Wouldn't it be better if we just told them we don't have anything here? That's a lie. Trump, well, there'll be a defense. He didn't think he had anything here. Okay, that's going to be a legitimate dispute. I think he loses. I think there's abundant evidence, as you'll see. Hey, thank you for watching. Please go to newsnationnow.com, newsnationnow.com, And you can find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button down below. Then you will get more of NewsNation's fact-driven coverage.